Polkadot Value Forecast 2023-2030. The new expansion in the Polkadot crypto cost has left a great deal of purchasers pondering spot's possibilities. The focus is beneath exemplify specs cost projections until 2030. 2023. On the off chance that the bulls continue to push spot's ascent, regardless of mental resistance at $7 and a high liquidity zone, it might conquer these boundaries and hit $15 before the year's end. 2024. The spot coin cost is expected to reach $23.8 toward the finish of 2024, with proceeded with development and organization upgrades. 2025. Polkadot could see a course into $34 toward the finish of 2025 on the off chance that it endures the unpredictability and gets through essential basic opposition levels. 2030. The developing acknowledgement of digital currencies, alongside rising revenue from institutional and individual financial backers, as well as the extending utilization of interoperable blockchains, could drive SPEC to $100 toward the finish of 2030. Polkadot value history. Polkadot (DAB) was made with a dream for how different blockchain organizations could cooperate on a decentralized stage. At the point when the token sent off in 2020, Polkadot immediately became one of the most outstanding altcoins in light of the fact that it had an imaginative response to the issues that blockchain networks like Ethereum had connecting with scaling and working with different organizations. From the get-go, Polkadot's estimating inconsistently vacillated as it entered a cost disclosure zone. In 2021, the cost of Polkadot began to rise dramatically, expanding by over 1,100% to become one of the most encouraging cryptographic forms of money. The cost continued to flood while additional individuals were keen on putting resources into cryptographic forms of money on the grounds that the Polkadot group protected more organizations with different undertakings. On November 4, 2021, it arrived at its unsurpassed high of $55.58. After this ascent, the cost immediately convoluted and went down, coming to long-term lows in 2022. The Polkadot coin cost has encountered high descending tension since it hit its unequaled high. The Bitcoin market was in bedlam in 2022 as the circumstance among Russia and Ukraine deteriorated. Despite the fact that individuals felt that the Ukrainian government's acknowledgement of SPEC gifts in spring would make the cash worth more, it battled to go above $23. The disappointments of Luna and Terrost further shook the crypto world in May, when DAB's worth dropped to $7.32. Through June and July, the market stayed melancholy, with spot falling as low as $4.2 on December 28. From that point forward, notwithstanding, the cost has bounced back from the $4 support as the bulls endeavor to break the chains of the $7 obstruction mark. Ongoing changes in the cost of spot show that individuals are turning out to be more keen on its true capacity, as it has seen a 60% development in a little more than a month. Purchasers hoping to purchase digital currencies while the market endeavors to recuperate can think about spot for a drawn-out approach. The $4.3 level of mental help has been a basic piece of the SPEC's recuperation lately. This straightforwardly added to areas of strength for that was seen in January 2023. The $7-10 value reach might end up being a critical boundary in the approaching times. An effective break over this obstruction level can increment purchasing pressure. We should momentarily look at the spot crypto cost development. Polkadot token was sent off in 2020 and immediately became one of the most mind-blowing altcoins in view of how imaginatively it scaled and functioned with different organizations. In 2021, it arrived at its unequaled high of $55.58. However, the cost immediately turned around, coming to long-term lows in 2022, while spot became one of the most underestimated cryptos. Since then, at that point, the cost has bounced back from the $4 support as the bulls endeavor to break the chains of the $7 obstruction mark. In 2023, the $4.3 level of mental help has been a basic piece of the recuperation as of late, and the $7-10 cost range is urgent for the purchasers to break to impel a bull run. Polkadot Value Forecast 2023. Novices who need to put resources into digital currencies ought to consider the short and long-haul impacts of things that could influence the worth of the Polkadot token cost. The Polkadot group distributed a refreshed rendition of their guide gathering on their organization blog on September 26, 2022. The post gave an outline of the non-concurrent support drive, which expects to decrease the time it takes to make blocks on the parachain to 6 seconds, increment how much space each block can take up by a component of 5 to 10. and make it conceivable to reuse parachain hinders, regardless of whether they make it onto the transfer chain from the outset. One more advantage of the update is that the most extreme throughput of the organization will go up to 100,000 a million TPS. Cross-Agreement Message Stage, or XCM, is a convention that was made to make it more straightforward for individuals and alternate on an organization conventions to converse with one another. In May of last year, the Polkadot network got a major update, which made it workable for XCM to be added to the organization. This consideration was a stage towards making the Polkadot biological system completely interoperable, permitting correspondence across various blockchains and cooperations between savvy contracts and decentralized applications. This was a major step in the right direction last year, and it assisted financial backers and clients with seeing DApp's utility. Empowered these elements to get through its nearby opposition obstruction. The Polkadot estimate for 2023 remained close $15. Changelly predicts a potential gain, perhaps arriving at a cost of $11.08 continuously nearby. Up to that point, the crypto's ongoing help level of $4.3 could support any descending changes consistently. Polkadot Value Forecast 2024. Green cognizance has been a noticeable subject in the digital currency world, and numerous specialists have underlined the ecological neighborliness of Polkadot. It is viewed as one of the most supportable digital currencies, with a yearly carbon impression of just 50 tons, situating it as one of the most eco-accommodating cryptos. Polkadot is a perfect representation of a feasible blockchain cryptographic money because of its use of the confirmation of stake POS agreement system. Dissimilar to confirmation of work, which utilizes a great deal of energy, POS doesn't need a consistent competition to mint new coins. This settles on a vastly improved decision for the climate. For the people who focus on natural effect in their speculations, Polkadot has been a famous decision and keeps on holding that status. Assume the general cryptographic money market patterns towards bullishness in 2024. The viewpoint at Polkadot's cost looks encouraging. Changelly's Polkadot expectation for the approaching year imagines spec coming to $16.5. Nonetheless, it is fundamental to recollect that assuming this level is outperformed, the following huge opposition lies at $23.8, possibly opening up much more significant learning experiences for financial backers. Polkadot Value Expectation 2025. According to Masare's most recent Territory of Polkadot report, in the final quarter of 2022, the quantity of everyday dynamic records became by 64%, and the quantity of new records flooded by 49%. This flood is credited to a change in client conduct away from FTX and the effective send-off of USDT in selection pools. Since its origin in May, XCM has been a central member in working with more than 166,000 exchanges through its 70 channels. This is a pivotal part of the movement of the Polkadot biological system. With the arrival of XCM v3, the stage will arrive at new levels, thanks to its consistent crypto moves, high-level cross-chain interoperability, support for non-fungible tokens, NFTs,